indicates that it is going in a certain direction or a trend is starting in that direction. So what we have here is price ranging. So we'll have price ranging for a bit. And then there will be an indication. And this indication can be either big or small. It doesn't really matter. I normally personally like to look for the 4 hour, 1 hour levels to do this. So like, let's say if we have our swings. So swings is basically when price goes up to a certain point and then it rejects and then heads the opposite direction. So these are swing highs and swing lows. So just like we talked about yesterday, the lower lows, lower highs, higher lows, higher highs. It is the same thing. Just price is equaled out and that consolidation. So remember I said we don't trade consolidation. That is because we wait for those indications to play a part. So then we know which direction price is going to be headed. So in this lesson, basically going to just mainly talk about the indications. The indications will be coming from price having that momentum, the higher time frame, and just overall trading when price is in session with that volume. So indications can only happen, so write this down. Indications can only happen when it's breaking above or below swings, and that is highs and lows. So swings, highs and lows, right? So indications only can happen from when price is breaking these swing levels, and swing levels that you should be looking for most of the time is going to be on the 1 hour and 4 hour time frame. You can even go for daily, but most of the time if you're day trading, you really want to hit that 4 hour and 1 hour level. I personally use the 1 hour level. It works for me a lot. There will be some times where I scale to the 4 hour time frame just because the 1 hour isn't as clear as the 4 hour time frame. But whenever I am looking for, just overall the trend, I'm on that 1 hour time frame. And what I'm doing on this 1 hour time frame is waiting for those swings to be broken into any direction. It could be up or down. Swings broken into that direction, and that will be my indication. And that what it's telling me, what an indication is basically telling you, is overall showing you, hey, the trend is trying to push in this direction of the market, and this is indicating you that price is having that momentum above or below that level. So that way you know exactly where the volume is coming from. Now, what does most of this mean? You're probably asking, or like, how do you understand it? So think about it this way. The uptrend and the downtrend that we talked about yesterday, this is how it starts. So you don't see the whole uptrend yet, but this is letting you know this is where it starts at. So you're not going to catch the first of it. So what I showed you yesterday with the uptrends and downtrends, right? So the uptrends and downtrends. So we're just going to do this downtrend. This is where that indication mostly starts. This right here. This move right here starts that indication. Then this is the correction, and then this is the continuation. Without this indication, you won't be able to know when to get into the market because it will just never happen, right? So with this indication, it overall shows you like, okay, price is going to move above this level. So we're going to put this down right here. Price is going to move in a bullish manner above these swing highs, and it's going to push to a certain level. So think of an indication as basically the starting point of a trend. So you need that starting point so you can be able to utilize it, understand this pattern, understand this movement and why it's moving. So that way you can get into the charts or you can get into the trade later on down the line. So this is basically your, let's say it this way, right? This is the question. So this is the question. This answers the question, right? So what question is this answering? Okay. Most people, they'll look at the charts and they'll be like, what is the trend? Or what is the trend? And they'll be like, what is the trend? And where is price header. So they normally ask both of these two things, right? What is the trend? Where's price headed? And the best way to answer these two questions is overall looking at those swings. One second. The best way to answer this is what is the trend? So what is the trend? Currently looking at the swings, are your swings going higher or lower? Or are they getting lower and lower? So best way to answer it is, are your swings getting higher or are your swings getting lower? So if your swings are getting higher, most likely price is becoming into an uptrend. If your swings are going lower, then most of the times your trade is going into a downtrend. Not most of the times, but all the time your trade is going in a downtrend. So the best way to overall look at an indication is my swings getting, is this making my swings go higher or is it making my swings go lower? So in this case, if we're looking at it, these are our swings. So I'm gonna mark it out for you so you know what swings are. Swings. And because our swing, we have our swing highs right here. So swing high, price. Think of a high as the highest point it can go. And if we have those swing highs, if anything goes above those swing highs, then we have new swing highs. And if we have new swing highs, that means we have a uptrend starting, or price has bullish momentum. So also with that indication, this also shows at a certain price point. So let's say this is 500. Let's say this gray area is 500, right? What this goes to show, this 500 level, so this level of 500, price breaks above that 500 level. So then this means anything above 500 will have the same momentum as it had before. So the same momentum that's driving it up to, let's say, 600, right? So let's say this goes up to 600. So that indication is now going to show this is where that momentum started. It started anywhere above 500. So anything above 500 has the potential to go to 600, right? That's basically what an indication is showing you. So it's showing you where your entry is going to be, and it's showing you where the exit is going to be, because when price gets to a certain level, we're going to talk later on about time frames, but now price is going to go, and time frames and corrections, because those are both important. But what price is going to end up doing is having that correction, which we'll talk about in another video. But that indication will later on have a correction, which then you'll look for price to switch the trend, switch the market structure, and come back above this level. And that will be your entry point for the next go around.